Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're going to be looking at another Reddit post. Been having a lot of fun with these. We made one not too long ago with a player who felt absolutely hopeless and couldn't get out of his bracket. Today, we're going to be reading this post from Pograkuma Kelt. I definitely said that wrong. And he said, as a pause 5, am I supposed to be farming more? Each post game I play, stats say I should hit more creeps compared to any bracket. Having this in mind, I was trying to get more creeps per game, but this doesn't seem to work because my cores just take all the farm, like they should, and nothing is left for me. If I see free lane, I am using opportunity to farm there. Usually this is mid lane defense since my mid core is just hunting kills and don't care about his mid tower. That's actually a good point, usually that is the case. Would have more creeps for defending solo my safe lane tower from the 8 to 12 minute mark, but my cores like to TP there while this is dangerous. Kill creeps and die at the same time. Shit happens. Yeah, shit happens, it's true. I get some stacking gold, passive gold, gold for hunting wards, and happy to carry Philosopher's Stone. Feels okay to me. Am I missing something about farming as a pause 5? Or maybe I'm missing some free gold, but since I'm low bracket, I just don't know how to find it. Or just stats constantly lie to me. I sit on a 60+% win rate this patch in Guardian. That's incredible, 60% win rate is fantastic. I would say if you are 60% win rate, you should keep doing whatever you're doing. It's still good to improve though. I think sometimes people will be like, oh, I'm winning my games, I should just keep doing the same thing. You know, at some point you'll get stuck if that's your mentality. And it doesn't seem like that's this player's mentality considering he's out here looking for some help. So let's quickly read through a couple of the comments. Let's read one or two. And then we're actually going to look through his gameplay. And I have down a couple of points I've written down from a Jakiro game he played, and we're gonna make it very clear when you should be taking farm, like the couple of times per game, because it's quite niche. It is hard to identify, but you have to be able to identify it. All right, so the first comment from Shimmy Zimiz says, if you're at 60% win rate, then you're doing great. True. Regarding creep score, what I see high-level support do is they find farm on the map without taking it away from their carries. Some examples. Enemy creeps are at a tower, nobody is there to farm them. Retreating through an unsafe jungle. Can farm camps along the way since your carry won't be farming them. I do this after warding if I can clear them easily. Yeah, I think sometimes it depends on your hero. This is a good point from Shimmy. And it definitely depends on your hero, guys. If you're playing something like Witch Doctor, you're basically never going to be farming. If you're playing Abaddon, you're never going to be farming. If you're playing Bane, you're never going to be farming. And are there exceptions to this? Actually, yes. The only time you're going to be farming as these types of heroes, these Witch Doctors, Banes, and Undyings, Undying maybe isn't the best example because Decay actually is decent against creeps now, but these types of heroes, the only time you're typically farming on those heroes is to get level 6 or a specific level timing on your hero. For Witch Doctor, that can even be level 7, but 6 being the main one. And finally, Shimmy says, scout out enemy stacks and farm them yourself. Jakiro is good for dropping a Macro Pyre and a Dual Breath on a triple stack and stealing it. Another great point. If there is a triple or quad stack and you manage to steal it, that's immediately a 500 to 600 gold swing and absolutely worth an ultimate considering the enemy is also not getting the farm. And the original poster actually replied to the line that said enemy creeps are at a tower and nobody is there to farm them. He said, I see this often, but I'm not sure if I should TP there. Usually, actually, you shouldn't as a support. Usually whole team including me is on one side, we try to make a play in enemy jungle, and I see our safe lane tier 2 is pushing. I think that TP at this point would be griefing. Yeah, usually as a support, TPing across the map is not a good idea, unless you're a very specific hero that scales. Maybe you're an Earthshaker in its early game, right? And you gotta farm that Blink Dagger. You should just, your hero is so bad without Blink, or okay, it's mediocre without Blink, and so you're better off actually just sacrificing some of your impact on the map to actually hit a way stronger timing. And that's a good example where you could. Most of the time you don't though, it's too much of a grief, especially on heroes like Jakiro. Because if you look at his Dota buff, I have his game pulled up here, but this is dedication. This guy, respect. My gosh. Whew. Okay, so we will be looking. All right, let's get back into the post. But either way, he said sometimes there's nothing happening and I do TP to a tower for a D push, but a second after I see some core to TP as well, so I just walk away and sit nearby to help if I think it's a dangerous place. I will try to farm camps along the way, back from the enemy jungle. Really good idea about macro pyring enemy stack. Thanks. Yeah. I agree with that. But all right, let's get into his game now. I have a couple of points. I got 6 or 7 points. We're going to keep it brief, but hopefully a very effective analysis for you guys when it comes to farming as a position 5 and how to actually do this. Okay, so let's hop into the first clip of the game. So one thing to note is that he didn't get Tome this game, and I think because of this, I really like his decision making. So level 6 is a very important timing for support players. most people don't put nearly enough emphasis on level 6. I don't know why. Like your hero, for instance, Jakiro, is so bad at level 4. It's like good at level 1, good at level 2, good at level 3, and then it quickly falls off. Like it falls off. It's not that it does nothing. Of course that's not true, but compared to hitting level 6 and having Macro Pyre in your arsenal, it's not even close. And so what you want to do is put an emphasis on that. That's either with the Tome immediate level 10, he didn't get it this game, that's okay, or finding the farm. His Drow is actually going to TP to jungle hero. So I love what he does. He TPs bottom, and I'm not going to say too many positive things throughout this video, so enjoy this part. But basically, he TPs bottom, and this is good because he doesn't instantly show himself. Even honestly showing here, I think was relatively unnecessary, but it's okay. It's pretty hard for them to dive him, and he's stalling up the card push. So not only does this defend the tower, it also gets him towards that very important level 6 timing. A beautiful play. He's not taking away space from his Drow, he's defending the tower, he needs level 6, and he's not useful anywhere else on the map. So this is a great play. I absolutely love this play from him. Do I think he uses too much mana? Yes, that last Q is really bad considering he's almost out of mana now, but either way, this is fantastic. I love that he stays bottom here and doesn't try to go top, baiting a weak Night Stalker into a bad engagement. That would be terrible. Now a fight ends up breaking out, and fortunately for him, he ends up getting level 6 off of this, which is good, right? So he gets his level 6, and let's see what he does next. This is very, very important. So what Kelt is going to do here is get barely enough mana for his TP, and then TP. The reason why this is horrible, and you might be like, what does this have to do with farming? The point is, your farming should lead up to a timing. I don't just want to tell you guys about when to farm. That's really not that useful. You need to know why you're doing it. You're doing it to hit 6. You don't really need gold on supports for the most part. Are there exceptions? Yeah, like Earthshaker, Blink Dagger. Meta Boots on Jakiro is not bad, right? It's something as well. But honestly, I don't even think you need to have mana boots early on as this hero. You can get away with clarities and raindrops just to make sure that you have enough mana throughout the early game, which he kind of even does here. So the problem with this TP is he hits level 6, which is like the main reason for him to stay bottom, besides defending the tower, is to hit level 6. And now all of a sudden, he's TPing across the map, burning his TP, burning his gold, burning his mana pool. That's the biggest one, the mana pool. He's on his timing, he could set up a play, and he's not looking to set up a play whatsoever. So when you farm, it shouldn't be for long periods of time, and it should set up this movement. He should immediately be looking to synergize with, let's say, this Night Stalker ulti timing, or a Dawnbreaker ulti, right? He could smoke with a Dawn, they could kill anyone. To be fair, Jakiro likes playing with a stun. He doesn't really have one this game, so his best bet is the Night Stalker ulti, and that is what he should play around. He doesn't even have to make a play right away. I just hate that he TPs across the map for seemingly no reason, just to check a hill that wasn't even warded and destroy his mana pool. Even TPing to base would have been way better there, so he could set up a play on his 6 timing that he farmed for. Another example of looking to farm, this is probably the main point I can point out as well. Right here, his team isn't in a position to fight. He could start looking to get ready to play with this Night Stalker ulti, and I would like that, right? That would be really high skill. Even most 5Ks and 6Ks, even most 8Ks don't do that type of thing. I'm being real with you guys. They don't do it consistently. So that would be really high skill if he managed to do that. But what I don't like about this clip, so he stacks Ancients, fantastic, okay? Great. I love that, right? He has a Huskar who can take them, Drow who can take them, great. Now, this mid wave completely free. I have no idea what Dawnbreaker's doing. She's AFK. This Huskar's jungling. Just go take the mid wave, right? The alternative is to go look to make a play with Night Stalker. And funny enough, he actually heads up top. The problem is, I don't really feel like they were on the same page, and I don't think he communicated to Night Stalker that he wanted him to ulti and that he has Macro Pyre. Maybe he doesn't value the Macro Pyre timing enough, but basically, if Kelt is watching this, when you have 6, tell your teammates to go on people and kill them with Macro Pyre. Alright, going a step further here, he's actually going to look to get some of his first bit of farm in the mid game, but I really didn't like this play, and I'm going to get into why, because it looks kind of good. His Night Stalker's bottom, Drow Huskar in the jungle. Why wouldn't he take top farm speed? Actually, I like that he's looking to take. I like it. I think he should go for top farm. The problem is what he doesn't do. So because it's nighttime, most low MR players, guys, I'm gonna keep it real. If you are 1K, 2K, 3K, 4K, you are way too afraid of the nighttime, and you are way too afraid of being away from your teammates. It's like the 19-year-old who moves out from his parents' house and he's just freaking out all the time because he's by himself in a new apartment. Just go. You're fine. Nothing's gonna happen. You're fine. You're not just gonna instant die because it's night and you're alone. Don't just leave the area and assume you're getting ganked by 4 heroes. You're fine. Go place the ward. Like, he needs to get up deep vision here to set up for future plays. And you might be like, what does this have to do with farming? One of the best things you can do as a support is get a deep ward and then clear the subsequent wave that is nearby, right? So instead what he does is he macro pyres, which he doesn't need to do because he maxed his Q, which I like this Jakiro build because it lets you farm. He goes to farming build, which is max Q, and then macro pyres, which is very counterintuitive. And I want you guys to understand that this is like a big deal because then he backs off and then proceeds to TP back to base. He wasn't in danger. They don't have heroes that really gank, so they don't even have setup heroes. 2 heroes were dead. It's nighttime. The enemy team is just as scared as he is, so trust me, they're probably not looking for you. And he doesn't get down one of his 2 wards that his team desperately needs. They have no vision right now. He could have snuck over and gotten down a ward here while Witch Doctor wasn't in position. He could have used this sentry to assume there's no ward here and placed a deep ward here. He needs to get down vision. So while farming these deep waves is good, he wastes macro pyre. He didn't need to use it. And then he doesn't get down deep vision. So I like this opportunity to farm. It's a good example of when to farm. The execution was just way off. Okay, getting a little bit off topic here. I just thought this would be a good thing to cover for the sake of every support player watching. Before we get back into the topic of farming, I just want to say, like, guys, you got to cast your spells for max range. Like, I watched the entirety of this game, and I can tell you for a fact, like, almost every single team fight, he would make a large mistake in terms of positioning. And that's okay, you know, it's tough. It's a hard thing to do. But he would, like, for instance, right here, right? He casts his Q and his W. The only spell he has left is Macro Pyre. You don't cast Liquid Fire at this point in the game. It is not a priority. It puts you way out of position, unless you have your attack range held at 10. It puts you way out of position. So for instance here, he walks up to E this guy. No, okay, I'm sorry. He walks up to Macro Pyre, which was like, it's like, damn, this spell is like 1,000,000 cast range. Definitely not the place to be Macro Pyring, because realistically, the Lifestealer could have even looked to turn and kill him. Thankfully, his team is way ahead, so he doesn't get punished for this. But realistically, that's going to kill you in losing games, and once again, cause you to lose games. Everything you do should be from max range as a support. Once again, there's always exceptions in Dota, but in general, when you cast spells for max range, it forces the enemy to have to dive a little bit deeper, or frankly, a lot a bit deeper, and therefore put themselves out of position when trying to kill you, therefore killing themselves. So on another note of farming, this was kind of a clip I didn't really like. And I think, honestly, he might have done this because of the Reddit post, which is fine. Basically, what he ends up doing is he kind of jungles a couple camps. And the reason why this is just so off here is he's not really close to a timing. He's level 10, right? He's got a good level. He doesn't really need more levels. You know, you want the last point in Ice Path pretty bad. But other than that, like, you don't really need this farm. This Aeon Disc is way too far away to prioritize farming. It's not really a key timing for the game. And so it makes no sense to be just taking a large camp from full HP at this point of the game, especially considering his team is going high ground. Now you might be like, oh, but speed, they don't need him. The enemy team is gonna respawn, right? Of course they're gonna respawn, and his team is still going high ground, which is pretty reasonable. The enemy team is sort of dead, and he's still jungling a camp. And so I understand that you guys wanna farm, you pick Jakiro to farm, but you should just clear the occasional wave here and there, right? You should just clear the occasional wave here and there. If your team is going high ground and you're not close to an item or timing, you should be with them. You should be with them. You don't need to solo carry the game as Jakiro at this point in the game, right? Can you? Yeah, I could teach you guys how to do that, but that's like, you'd have to play in a very specific way with a very specific skill set. For the most part, and even at a pro level, when everyone knows what they're doing, you should be grouped with your team in that scenario. All right, and now we have 2 more clips that I'd like to go over where he actually could have found farm that wouldn't have been unreasonable to take. So his team is looking top here, and I understand why he TPs in, but frankly, his team is just being psychotic. Night Stalker is not in position to fight, Huskar is not with his team, he didn't need to TP here. Frankly, his team is just being weird. So what he could have done in this scenario is actually taken this creep wave. It would have been a good wave to shove in. It would have put some map pressure and gotten him to actually his Aeon Disc, which he happens to be close to now. It would have been way more reasonable for him to go in there and take the farm because they're not really looking to take a fight. I understand why he TP'd, it makes sense, but he could have taken that wave. And another example of looking for farm is, this is probably the best clip in the video outside of a couple of the early ones. So his team's gonna die, right? They go way out of position, Drow's gonna get black holed, he can't do anything to save her, that's fine, right? Now, this is a big mistake. Most players in Dota will not make this play. They won't. They're just not good enough. I'm being honest. The majority, including 5Ks and 6Ks, would not make this play. So what it is his team is dead. Of course you're not looking to fight. So the only thing you can do right now is like jungle or shove a wave. You're not going to be looking for a kill as Dawnbreaker Jakiro support duo, right? That's not going to happen. So what he should do here is what, guys? You're probably seeing it now that I'm pointing out that he's making a mistake and there's nothing better to do. What should he do? You probably see it now. Go bottom. He should go bottom because the enemy team is showing mid on the majority of their heroes. So he has information, because you don't just casually show bottom, right? If there was a lifestealer infested in a creep running down bot wave, he should not show bottom. But he has a good ward. He can sit behind the creep wave and be patient. He doesn't need to clear it right away. There's no rush. He just needs to wait for information and then go farm it. But instead, he makes the classic play. And by the way, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but this is Guardian. He makes the classic play of just TPing back to base. He's going to farm these camps unnecessarily, right? Because he could have farmed this creep wave, which puts map pressure, right? Forces them in, is going to bait the enemy team to retreat, delaying the push, right? Going to force people to respond, delaying the push, and get him a significant amount of XP and gold. So it's way better than taking these camps here, and it was no threat considering the enemy team kept on showing and they don't have a good pickoff hero. When you're split pushing, you do need to look at what the enemy heroes are. If there's a Storm Spirit who's snowballing, you should be a lot more careful about pushing in side lanes, or if there's like a Shadowblade Slark who's been running around trying to kill you all game, that's another good time to, well, not show in the side lanes until you see them. So yeah, once again, he could have cleared 2 creep waves here, right? 2 breath, E, go into the tree line, 2 breath, E, go into the tree line, then TP base when the wave is all the way in their base, and that would have been fantastic. From there, I like that he TPs back eventually to then hopefully macro pyre the wave, which he does from way too close, but it's fine. And yeah, that's where we're going to end off the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you want me to make one of these videos about your gameplay, I've been taking clips from the r/LearnDota2 Reddit. You can also message me on Discord. So if you have like a bit of a story you want to give me, and then a couple of match IDs you want to give to justify the story or ask a very important Dota question, you can hit me up on Discord and ask me whatever questions you want if you're willing for me to make it into a video. But all right, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot about farming as a support, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
And that's all, but remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.